It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Thursday, April 10th, with your hosts, me, Ray, in cold Ventnor City, New Jersey, and Zach. Well, apparently it looks chilly in Washington because he's wearing a different hoodie today, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today, handsome?
Doing fantastic. Happy Thursday, April 10th, folks. Thanks for tuning in to CarEdge Live. Today's show is brought to you by us, damn it, CarEdge.com. If you're in the market to buy, sell, protect, do anything, track the vehicle's value, go to CarEdge.com. I want to call out in particular dealer invoice price or click on research. Use our free window sticker tool. Over 5,000 window stickers are generated every day back on CarEdge.com. Super cool to see how helpful all the tools we have back on CarEdge.com can be. Pops, the lead story this morning.
Yes.
Toyota and Lexus, what the heck are you doing? We've got some scary new data, and it comes from Cox Automotive, Pops. Tariffs trigger surge in March new vehicle sales, inventory levels decline. So I'm going to lead you with that. Inventory levels for new cars are declining. We know Toyota and Lexus have the lowest days supply of inventory in the auto industry. I'm going to put you on the spot here. How low can we go, Dad? How low is the days supply over at Toyota and Lexus right now? What do you think?
19 days for Lexus, 20 days for Toyota.
Okay, bring it up a little bit. Like, come up a little for me.
24 days for Lexus, 25 days for Toyota.
All right, we're getting closer. We're not quite warm, but
33 days for Lexus, 34 for Toyota.
Now we're talking, baby. Dad, look at this. Lexus is down to a 30 days supply of inventory, and Toyota has a 32 days supply of inventory. We are officially at 1 month supply of inventory amidst all of the chaos going on in terms of imports and whatnot. This is a bad omen for Lexus and Toyota customers, because there's just no cars. There's no inventory. You've got 1 month's worth of inventory. You ran dealerships for 40 plus years. What happens? What happens when you've got a 30 days supply of inventory?
Every car counts. Every customer pays. When you're down to nothing in inventory, there's something you have just suddenly became worth more, and your customers are going to pay more to get it. So the likelihood of a Toyota or a Lexus customer saving significant sums of money on whatever it is they want to purchase, well, that continues to go down with every drop in the day supply of vehicles for those two brands.
And unfortunately, we continue to see these brands struggle to actually get cars on their dealer lots. On the other end of the spectrum, Dad,
yes,
you have brands like Lincoln with a 127 days supply, Dodge with 111 days supply, Ram 110 days supply, Infiniti 110 days supply, Mini 105 days supply, Jeep 104 days supply, Land Rover with a 101 days supply, Ford with a 99 days supply. Help us understand the difference here between the Lexus and Toyotas of the world and these brands over here, or Jaguar that's off the chart. Let us understand, or help us understand what this actually means. Like, this
the cost of having all that inventory sitting on your dealer lot is astronomical. So that is a motivating factor to relieve yourself of that inventory. So if you're working at a dealership or you're managing a dealership, you're looking at your day supply of vehicles and you're going, well, we got to sell some cars. What normally sells cars? Lowering the price. So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen, as the general manager might say. If you have a customer and they have a real legitimate interest in buying a vehicle, you need to figure out how to make that happen. Do not let anybody leave without the car they wanted to buy, and do whatever it needs to take price-wise to get the customer to say yes.
Yeah, and so this is the difference right now in the market between the Lexus and Toyotas of the world and obviously the brands over there to the right. And I want to pull up a comment that came up here, Dad. Where was it? From Barrister. How is it bad? How is it bad? My wife said we must have a Sienna, so we waited 3 months and paid the full over at Toyota. Toyota suggested retail price. It was painful, but I have a happy wife. That's super fair. But why is this bad, Dad? Why is this scary data if you're an interested Toyota or Lexus customer? I think it means, especially amidst what's going on with tariffs, it means that these dealers have no incentive to really wheel and deal, correct?
Exactly. I mean, why is it bad? Because they are artificially keeping their day supply low in order to be able to keep the asking price up.
Yeah.
So why is it bad? I don't know. If you like overpaying, then it's not bad. If you know, there was a time
Huh.
in the not too distant past where nobody in their right mind ever paid MSRP. That if a customer came into a dealership and somehow you got them to pay MSRP, when that customer left, every employee in the dealership was high-fiving each other because they couldn't believe that somebody actually paid MSRP. Well, if the manufacturer is artificially keeping the supply low and people are not only paying MSRP but above MSRP because of dealer installed accessories and such, that's bad. It's bad because the customer is paying more than they necessarily would have if there was, I don't know, the average number of new cars in inventory.
And Dad, remember we had Igor in our community talking to some of his dealer friends. Mercedes is playing around with the idea of sending way less inventory to the US market, and Mercedes dealers are buying up used cars. Mercedes-Benz dealers are loving the idea to be in a situation like Toyota with low inventory and high demand for cars.
So why would that be bad for the buying public? Because you're going to pay more, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple situation here. Let's go to the CarEdge machine. I want to do a little bit of an analysis, Dad. I'm going to go to the new car search really quickly. And we're here, obviously. Oh, actually, I don't even know what zip code I have right now. Let's change. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. You know, maybe some days we shouldn't go to the CarEdge machine live. I'm just saying.
All right, we're here. RAV4.
Okay.
Looking on the first one. 2025 Toyota RAV4 XLE MSRP invoice price target discount range. When I want to look at, days supply, Dad, 25 days supply. So if you're in the Washington D.C. area and you're interested in a RAV4, what trim was this? This was an XLE.
Yeah,
there's your market situation. There's a 1,065 for sale, but almost 2,000 have sold in the last 45 days. And to be clear, the reason this is scary new data is because we just got the latest data and it keeps going down.
Can you scroll down on our website and see what others have paid? Because my suspicion is that others have probably paid pretty close to MSRP.
Yeah, we've got $680 in savings, $500 in savings. This was over in California. Someone got $1,600 off. So yeah, none of these are having, there's not like a massive, this is a concierge service. These are professional car buyers.
Yes.
We're talking about, these types of savings. Let's say any rebates. Yeah, and then look at this. This is what happens, Dad. There's your special APR financing if you're a Toyota RAV4 customer today. 5.24% for 36 months. The lease with the money factor. The money factor is 0.00289, 6.94% APR. This is what happens when there's not enough cars.
So, yeah, why is it bad? I don't know. The cost of doing business just went up. It's good for the dealer because the dealer is going to be making more money than they were used. Well, Toyota's been used to making money for the last several years because they've kept their day supply of cars down. But so it's good for the dealer, but it's bad for the customer. The customer ends up paying more. The customer ends up financing more. The customer ends up paying more in interest. The customer ends up going with a longer term loan. I mean, you tell me, how is any of that good? Okay, your wife's happy. Okay, good. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for your wife. There might have been some other comparable vehicles out there to look at where you might have been able to save some money because one day she's going to look at you and she's going to go, I think we need a new sofa. I'd like to redo the living room. Whatever it is.
Let's be clear, Dad. There's a great comment here from Lou, and then we're going to turn to some really thoughtful contributions. Yet Toyota can't move its trucks. So that's what's interesting about this. We'll pull back up the CarEdge machine, and we'll see if it's going to cooperate with us. Let's look at the Tacoma. And let's look at this one right here. Tacoma situation, 75 days supply. So this is for the
Mhm.
SR5. This is the Washington, D.C. area, 659 for sale, 393 have sold in the last 45 days. Totally different situation
Yeah.
here. Let's see if we have any sales data. And look
And
at the
and
savings, Dad.
and
Look
yeah,
at the savings.
yeah, but here's the real key.
Huh.
Okay, let's dig into this just a tad bit deeper. Now, we show, or they show, Toyota has a 34-day supply of cars.
Yeah. Cox Automotive
Factor
shows Toyota with a 32-day supply of cars.
32-day supply of cars. So factor into that they have an oversupply of Tacomas and Tundras. So their really popular vehicles are actually less than a 32-day supply because the oversupply of Tacomas and Tundras is inflating that day supply number. So the vehicles that people want to buy are in even less supply than the entire brand. And those people, I'm trying to think of a nice way of saying this, those people are about to get hosed.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's important to understand this.
Yeah, absolutely. Dad, let's turn to the chat here. We've got some thoughtful contributions. I also just want to note here from Brandon. If it is so bad for customers, then why does Toyota continue to be the highest selling OEM? I understand customers can't negotiate very much. However, they have the most desirable product. No, this is a testament to the business that Toyota and Lexus have built. It's not great that they're undersupplying the market on a lot of vehicles right now. We've got wait lists. We've still got markups happening in the market. You should not pay for markups on anything. You should obviously get below MSRP, but it's just not great when there's what's it called? Like the elasticity of supply and demand. It's pretty inelastic with cars, man. Like, when they're not producing as many, you're kind of screwed.
It proves that what's a lot of their customers are lemmings. Okay, in the sense that they'll just go along with whatever the program is because they are programmed to believe that they are the best vehicles out there. And at one time, they probably were. Today, there are some quality issues with Toyota, unlike what we've seen in the past. So,
yeah. And there were quality, and there were also the scandals. Toyota was actually caught up in a bunch of various safety scandals, which were super, what's the word? Incongruent with the history that Toyota had.
Yes, but give Toyota credit for having built such a loyal customer base that they are willing to pay more, considerably more, to buy that Toyota than they would to buy a comparable competitor's vehicle. So yeah, give them credit for that, but you can't convince me that that's good for the customer. Okay, it's good for Toyota and it's good for the dealer.
Yeah,
it ain't good for the customer.
Let's keep going here, Dad. We've got from Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. This is very thoughtful and generous. Hi, guys. Looking at a 2025 Honda Pilot Trail Sport. It is $200. Oh, geez, $200 below dealer invoice price. 175 days on the market. It is $800 over the high target price. Your thoughts, please. And Pops, we've got a VIN. Let's plug this in to our favorite machine. That would be the CarEdge machine. Dad, do you mind reading that out to me?
5 FNYG 1H 65SB 074399.
Here we go, folks. Let's come on over here. All right, so we've got a 51,000. Wow, these Hondas got expensive, man. Expensive.
Yeah.
$51,250 MSRP. The invoice price, this is what the dealer pays for the vehicles, $48,072. The target discount range, based on other deals that we've seen and market conditions, is $4,300 off to $5,500 off. Let's scroll down here, Dan. Let's look at some of the data. We're up to 177 days on market. Fascinating. The day supply is actually quite low. So this one's been sitting. 51 for sale. 78 have sold in the last 45 days. Dealers advertising at $47,800 I'd say if you're in shooting distance of that target discount, I'd jump all over that deal, especially considering they've held on to it for as long as they have. And if the out the door price is clean. So Pops, what are your thoughts here for Brandon with this particular vehicle?
He has the opportunity to pick it up perhaps for a couple $100 under invoice. Make sure that if there's any dealer installed accessories on there, and I'm guessing there are, make sure that you negotiate the cost of those accessories off the vehicle. My guess is that they're going to look at the advertised price that they have, and then when you get there, tell you, oh, and that's plus our dealer installed accessories of. So you have to hold tight and say, hey, that's great. I didn't ask for any of that. I don't want to pay for any of that. I'm not going to pay for any of that. And by the way, I know you've had this car for 175 days. So it's costing you money to have it here. How can we come to a mutually beneficial conclusion?
So we've got here, Dad, from Brandon, limited quantity in that color, internet price plus tax. All right. I mean, I would really no other add-on fees. All right. If that's the case, I would go in there and you've always said this, Dad, your best leverage is when you're actually there. Obviously, we advocate for getting deals done over the phone. We offer a car buying service and a negotiation service and do it entirely remotely. So it's possible. But Brandon, I would go in there and I would wave it in front of everyone that, you know what, I want to get this done, but I need some extra off. Maybe you're shooting for an additional $1,000 off and you end up with $500 off. Also, I would question if you have a trade-in right now, that's a huge component to any car deal in today's market. Trades, vehicles that are relatively young, super high in demand. So I'd keep those two in mind as you negotiate.
You can always ask for more. Now, don't go in there and say, okay, I want another $2,500 off. Okay, the ask has to be somewhat reasonable, and you'll never get what you don't ask for. So ask, and say, hey, I would do it for 46 and change, whatever it is, and see what they say. See if there's a counter, and ultimately, if it's the right color and the right equipment and what you're looking for, and it's within a couple $100 of where you want to be, I would, I would just, if it were me, I would move forward. But, then again, I'm easy.
For sure, Pops, for sure. Hey, I want to remind everyone, one of the best features we have back on the edge of cars, CarEdge.com. If you scroll down on a vehicle detail page, you can click on the window sticker or the buyer's guide. But if you click on window sticker, gang, you're going to get the window sticker. And this works for new and used vehicles. So please, and it's 100% free. All you have to do is have a free CarEdge account. So please, if you're not using the window sticker tool, you're really missing out. It is free. We pay a lot of money for that data. We invested so much time to make that tool happen. Please use it. Dad, I want to come here, and then we're going to turn our attention to another thoughtful contribution from Baron. But first, from Syad, can you negotiate add-ons for a lease as well? Let's spend a second on this, Dad, because you were just harping on, for that Honda Pilot, there's probably some add-ons, some dealer ads, or, be prepared to negotiate those. Does that happen on a lease deal too?
Absolutely. I seem to recall I did it on mine.
Talk about that a little bit. How does that work?
Well, it works in that the dealer said, oh, well, but every one of our cars comes with the leather protection or the interior protection and the exterior paint protection. And it's $399. That's great. I don't want it. I don't care. Yeah, but no. That's on every one of our cars. I don't want it. I don't want to pay for it. I don't care. But I told you, right? And at that point, there was an email, and the email said, so you're choosing not to take that off for me, as opposed to you just wanting to tell me, well, it's on every car. It's a choice that you're making at the dealership level. That choice can lead to one or two types of customers. If you were to take it off, it could lead to a customer who would become a raving fan and tell everybody that they ever come in contact with just how wonderful your dealership is. Or you could choose not to take it off, and you could have a moderately happy customer who will never tell anybody about his experience at your dealership, thus getting you no additional customers. So my suggestion would be to choose wisely. If you're going to make a choice at the dealership level, choose wisely. That's all I ask. And at that point, I got an email back that said, well, I spoke to the general manager, and he said, in your case, we won't charge you for it, and it'll be free. But there won't be any warranty associated with it.
So there you go. These products get added on. Doesn't matter how you're paying for the vehicle, cash,
Yes.
finance, or lease, and you can negotiate just like my dad was describing. From Baron here, Pops, thanks, Baron. It isn't bad. It is business. Toyota was smart enough to keep inventory low on a desirable product. They can meter inventory now, tariffs, no factor. I don't even think the T word has come out of my mouth yet today. So definitely some, or maybe I mentioned it earlier that I think there's like some turbulence going on in the market. But I think Toyota has taken this to the extreme. And the only reason I can say that with confidence is because we get this pretty chart every single month and we get our extremes, right? We have Lexus and Toyota at one end of this chart and one end of the extremes. And then we have a brand that isn't even on the chart because it would go too far off. That's Jaguar. But obviously Lincoln's the other end of the extreme right now. And typically, Dad, this industry does not have such diversity in terms of, you know, what's 127 days. So that's 4 months worth of inventory versus 1 month of inventory. So great business decisions, and also obviously not an awesome situation for consumers who want to try and, you know, pay the lowest price.
Well, and in this case, the lowest price on the most desirable vehicles will be MSRP or MSRP plus dealer installed accessories. And the dealer can the dealer the manufacturer has effectively removed any leverage that the customer would have, because there's more customers than there are cars, desirable cars. So the dealer can hold tight. That's why I say it's bad. I get it's a great business decision from Toyota's perspective, you know, that they have figured out how to keep their inventory lean so that their dealers' expenses are down because they don't have as many cars on floor plan. They get to sell every car for MSRP plus.
Yep.
Yeah, it's great. It's great for the dealer, and it's great for like on-time manufacturing for Toyota. But it's not great from the customer's point of view, in the fact that the customer has no real leverage, because your threat of saying, no, I'm leaving, will be met with, that's not a problem. Mr. Smith right behind you is more than willing to pay what we're asking.
Dad, we've got an interesting question here from Charlie's Hamburgers. Besides Honda, what else is reliable? And I want to turn our attention to back on caredge.com/research. If you scroll down just a little bit, we've got all of our vehicle rankings, depreciation rankings, insurance rankings, maintenance rankings, cost of ownership rankings, value rankings. I'm going to click on maintenance rankings, Dad, and I want to use this as a little bit of a proxy here for reliability. Now, it's obviously fascinating to see Fiat #1 as a proxy for reliability. I don't think most people are waking up and saying Fiat and Mini are going to be super reliable, but from a maintenance perspective, in terms of the predicted probability of major repairs, your maintenance schedule, they're relatively cheap. Toyota, obviously, #2, makes a ton of sense. And if I scroll down even lower, you can see the actual vehicles that are over the course of 10 years, the best in terms of maintenance costs: the Mirai, the Leaf, the BZ4X, the 500e, the Ioniq 6. So there are plenty of options beyond Honda that are going to be reliable and not necessarily super expensive from a maintenance and repair perspective. And we have all that data right here. Those are your best. Let's just take a quick peek. And here are your worst, you know, your Ram 3500, Ram 2500, obviously a lot of vehicles that cost a lot of money to maintain over time.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we have all this information, so you can look at it, you can study it, you can see which ones are going to cost you the most over the period of time, which ones will cost you the least, which ones require the least amount of maintenance as opposed to the most amount of maintenance. I mean, there's any number of good vehicles out there. Toyota, Honda, Mazda, Subaru, some of the Hyundai products today, some of the Kia products today. I'm not saying all of them, but some of them. I don't know. The Hyundai and Kia electric vehicles are typically pretty good quality vehicles. Now, what I feel is compelled to say that about their internal combustion engine vehicles, based on their history, perhaps not.
For sure, Dad, for sure.
But so there's just a little bit of studying that
Let me show one more thing, because we've got Brandon here saying, do you guys estimate maintenance costs on newer vehicles? Some of those are not 10 years old. So I want to show everyone something here. If you use the car search, CarEdge.com, I found some prologues here, some Honda prologues.
Yes.
If I click into this Honda prologue, Dad, I can scroll down. So not only do I get the MSRP, invoice price, target discount range, if I scroll down here, I will get the cost of ownership breakdown, which then I can click on any of these segments. So in this case, I've clicked on maintenance. And then from here, I'll actually be able to see what the first 10 years of service are going to cost me in terms of maintenance and repairs. And I can also see the estimated probability of a major repair in any given year. So in year 7 of Honda Prologue ownership, you should expect a 12% major repair. That's the probability there. If I come back here and let's do this experiment with a Ram. So now we're looking at a Ram 1500 Bighorn. Come down here. Nope. I guess I missed it on that one. Let me come back. Let's try this Tradesman. Well, this is disappointing. Where's my data on Ram 1500? All right, let's try one more. Let me.
We gotta stop doing these live tests on.
No, I think what we need is we need the stuff to work.
That's true.
I want a 2025. Here we go. We'll do a Jeep Wrangler. Alrighty. Okay. Well, I was going to show how the major repair probability goes up higher, but now we just get to create some tickets for the team to work on. So there we go. We'll try one more. No Name says, look at a Jeep Gladiator. All right. You know what? What's the definition, Dad, of
insanity?
Of
is
insanity?
doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Yeah.
All right. Try this. Here we go.
Team.
Let's go. Here we go. Okay. Yay. It worked. Maintenance. Major repair probability, year 7, 21% compared to that Honda Prologue, which was at 12%. So there you go. There you go. There you go.
Yes, it's a wonderful thing when it works.
Yep, absolutely.
And my guess is it works most of the time. It just doesn't work in real time when we need it to.
All right, Dad, we've got here from PNTD Black. I will be using CarEdge on my next new car purchase. Don't want to deal with the scrupulous salesman. It's awesome. For those of you that are unfamiliar, we do offer a buying service. So back on the website, just go to CarEdge.com. You can click right here, skip the dealership, and we've got some options for you. Our negotiation expert service and our concierge car buying service. You can check out all that back on CarEdge.com. Again, just go to the website, click on skip the dealership, and it will take you right there. Pops, let's call it a show if that's okay. I'm getting sniffly, man. I'm feeling like maybe I'm getting sick or something. I just got sniffles during this. That was.
You're not allowed to get sick. You're coming down here on Saturday, so you're not allowed to get sick because I don't want to get sick again because, well, I'm coming down to your neck of the woods the following Friday. So
yeah, true. All right. Well, hopefully I'm not getting sick. Let me go get some allergy medication in me, and let's do the show again tomorrow. How's that sound?
Well, is tomorrow Friday?
Tomorrow's Friday.
Absolutely. I'm in. I'll be here.
Awesome.
In the meantime, get some orange juice, maybe some chicken soup, and get yourself well.
All right. Love you, Dad. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Love you too, handsome.